Good evening, everyone. We'll call to order the Oxnard City Council Community Services, Public Safety, Housing and Development Committee for January 24th, 2023. And Mayor, if you would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. What's that? Yeah, I'll do that after the pledge.
Okay, please follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Madam Clerk, if we could have a roll call and posting of the agenda, please.
Member Zaragoza?
Here.
Member Madrigal?
Here.
Chair McDonald?
Here.
The agenda for this meeting was posted on the City Hall Bulletin Board on January 17th, 2022.
Thank you very much. And this will be the time where we take public comments on items not on the agenda but under the purview of this committee. I don't have any pre-registered speakers. And Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers online?
Chair McDonald, we do not have any speakers virtually or in person for this item.
Okay, thank you very much. That'll take us to item C, consent agenda. Approval of the minutes. Has the committee had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Do we have any speakers on the minutes, Madam Clerk?
Chair McDonald, we do not have any speakers virtually or in person.
Thank you very much. What's the pleasure of the committee?
Move approval.
Second.
Madam Clerk, we have a motion by Mayor Zaragoza, second by Member Madrigal. Roll, and we use the little boxes here to vote. Please vote.
Motion carries 3-0.
Okay, thank you all. Takes us to item D. First one is Information Technology Department. Subject is the Oxnard 311 Performance Update Report. Recommendations are that the city, excuse me, that the Community Services, Public Safety, Housing and Development Committee receive a 311 Constituent Relationship Management Performance Update for the period of performance year 6, which is May 1st, 2021 through April 30th, 2022, and the first half of performance year 7, May 1, 2022 through October 31st, 2022, and recommend the City Council receive the same update. And Ms. Miller, do you have any additional comments on, and pursuant to Measure B, there was a pre-recorded presentation on the city's YouTube channel, and staff here is Helen Miller. Do you have any additional comments or opening comments you'd like to say?
I just want to say good evening, committee members, members of the public, and city staff. I'd like to introduce Helen Johnson, who's the interim GIS manager. She worked with the city staff in preparing this report tonight, and she's available for questions as well as several members from the city departments.
Okay, thank you very much. Welcome aboard. So, Madam Clerk, do we have any callers on this? Oh, did you have any comments you'd like to say? Or?
Introduce yourself. Or?
Hi, I'm Helen Johnson. I'm the City of Oxnard's interim GIS manager. And as our other Helen said, I'm here to answer questions that you have about the report along with other city staff.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any speakers on this?
Chair McDonald, we do not have any speakers virtually or in person for this item.
Thank you very much. Does the committee have any questions or comments for staff?
I have some comments.
Sure, Mayor.
I just, Helen, it's Helen 1 and Helen 2. Who's Helen 1? So anyway, I really like to commend, the 311 Performance Update Report, and looking at it for the last 6.5 years, it's really commendable when we have, I think, 15,333 times that we had some downloads and about 123,550 service required. So I really think that this is really great for the community, number one, and number two, that keeps our city clean, from trash and other debris and graffiti and so forth. So I think that transparency that we have is really, really important, for the entire community. So, of course, it was a good report and a lot of data that was there. So, yeah. I think it's just outstanding, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Member Madrigal, any comments?
No, just a quick comment, maybe even a question regarding growth in the app. There's been constant growth as the years have gone by. I believe this is, we're in the middle of year 7 right now with the app. All things being considered, maybe 5-10 years down the road, or we can have the capability to, if we see this continued growth, to keep up with everything as work orders, or even my own app. Sometimes I feel sometimes it crashes. If we have that many users, do we have capability of keeping up, maintaining a well-maintained app?
I can't speak to the capability of different departments to handle workloads. I can only speak to the technical capabilities. And as a third-party app, it would be something that I would need to check with the company that maintains it, Acela.
Okay, thank you.
You good?
Good.
And reading the report, I guess we're measuring the amount of users by the number of downloads of the app, and it looks like it's about a little bit over 15,300. Is that correct in terms of downloads?
Yes, it is.
I guess I would like to see more people involved in our community. We're almost 210,000 people, so a total download of 15,000 is really a drop in the bucket. And I tell people quite a bit, when they say, "Can I tell you something to report it?" And I say, "Have you tried the 311 app?" Because it's usually faster than getting it to me and having me try to figure out who to call. And it's got a tracking mechanism, so I would really like to see the growth in the numbers of the number of people that use that app, but with the caveat that sometimes that can be a double-edged sword, in that the more successful we become at responding to illegal dumping or anything else, the more it potentially encourages people to illegally dump instead of taking it to the MRF, because they say, "Oh, the city will get to it in 24 hours. I'll just throw it out here and be done with it." And so, and that's a testament to how well we're doing as a city to dealing with these issues. But I think we also need to figure out a way that if people are doing unlawful dumping, we still need to find out who they are and have an action against them if at all possible. But I think the app is phenomenal. I've watched it grow over the years, in terms of functionality, and, now you can report homeless encampments or whatever you want, pretty much anything. And, I just think it's phenomenal. And my hat is off not only to, IT and GIS and all the folks that do the work on that side, but also the rest of the city that responds to these issues and deals with them, and, GAP and all the other programs that we have, Public Works. Everybody's doing a bang-up job on that, and I really appreciate that. It makes us very successful and look very good. So thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, one other thing too that I failed to mention here, that this is also, it's in Spanish also and 15 other languages.
Yes.
So I'm not sure do we know more or less how many Spanish-speaking people actually used it? We probably don't know that, but.
My understanding is that people set that on their phone, and I don't know that we have a way to track it from the back end.
Mm-hmm. And when we have 15 other languages, have we had any? That's phenomenal anyway to start off with. And I'm sure have we had any in other languages other than Spanish and English, or maybe you can give us that information later. But
again, as I said, it's something that they set on their own phone, so it's done through the user's operating system on their phone. Mm-hmm. They set what language they want their phone to be, and the app intuitively understands that, and if it's one of those 17 languages, it will use it.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, the request is that we send this forward to council as a receive and file information item. I don't see it as an action item, so unless there's any objection, I'll just say that'll be the direction.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Takes us to item D2, Community Development Department. Consideration of increase in the number of commercial cannabis cultivators and allow an expansion in the location where commercial cannabis cultivators are permitted. And the recommendation is that the Community Services, Public Safety, Housing and Development Committee recommend that City Council increase the number of commercial cannabis cultivators permitted to operate in the city from 2 to 5, and with the exception of the Rose Santa Clara Corridor Specific Plan, allow these uses to be aired or be cited in the same location where the city has allowed commercial cannabis manufacturing, distribution, and testing. And pursuant to Measure M, there was a pre-recorded presentation on the city's YouTube channel. And all those staff is Ashley Golden. Are you going to make introductory comments, or is Ms. Mallory going to take it? Ms. Kathleen Mallory.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. I wanted to first off introduce our management analyst, Matt Simpkins, to my right. He's assisting in running the cannabis program. So I just wanted to have the opportunity to introduce him. You'll be seeing him a lot this spring and early summer. And as mentioned, there is a pre-recorded video. So we're here to answer questions regarding the procedure and our recommendations. Thank you.
The committee have any questions or comments?
Yes, sir. Valerie, so we're going from, or potentially the recommendation is to go from 2 to 5 with the exception of the Rose Santa Clara corridor specific plan. Any idea why? Why not that specific?
Mayor Pro Tem, yes, that was initially in October of 2018 when our consultant HDL recommended a go slow approach. That number that was brought forward was for indoor and outdoor. Since that time, there's been a lot of changes in the cannabis market, and due to our location as a prime location in Southern California, that was the recommendation to go from 2 to 5. Additionally, our recommendation is to go to indoor only due to the odor issues, issues on security. So our recommendation is to go to 5 and have that be indoor, and we certainly we intend, and with council's concurrence, committee and council's concurrence, to write the ordinance to specify indoor only.
So at the time when the city council looked at it, the go slow approach was to, according to your report, avoid being run over by large companies that really would not give the small cultivators an opportunity to.
Correct, Mayor?
To
Yes.
do so. Okay, and let me see, so 2 to 5. And so this is recommended by our consultant, is that correct?
Yes, our consultant HDL, and also the work we've been doing in looking at what's occurring throughout Southern California is the basis for our recommendations.
And there's 3 locations, was Sakioka and McGinnis and also Alturas, is that correct?
Yes, cultivation was identified originally in 2018 within the Rose Santa Clara corridor area, as well as the Sakioka area and McGinnis Ranch, and then southerly in Oxnard, Alturas.
Alturas, yeah.
Correct, and our recommendation is to proceed in those areas with the exception of Rose Santa Clara corridor due to the prime real estate from the 101 and opportunities for retail operations there, and then to expand the location to align with where we allow manufacturing, distribution, and testing. So the action before you is to add cultivation within the Stratham Boulevard specific plan area, Channel Islands Business Center, as well as Northfield Seagate. So it would align with what council is already allowed for manufacturing, distribution, and testing.
And this is going to be indoors, right?
This is correct, Mayor. Our
Well,
recommendation is.
Are we going to have scrubbers or whatever to eliminate any odors?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Council, that is definitely best practices, is added security as well as air scrubbers. Yes, that'll be written into the ordinance. Excuse me.
I think I remember a couple of years ago over in Carpenter Rio, they had major problems with the odor throughout the city, so we are going to take care of that, make sure that we don't have that here.
Absolutely, Mayor, yes. That'll be written into the ordinance for scrubbers and to ensure that there will be, odor would be minimized, if any at all.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Member Madrigal?
No, nothing right at the moment. I know that this is, in a weird way, smart growth because we're so close to LA, and this is an ever-growing business, so I'm all for it. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. The only question I was going to have was, the report was kind of silent to outdoor growing, and knowing that Carpenter Rios had problems with outdoor grows, and Camarillo's had problems with outdoor growing and odor, that was going to be my question, but you answered it ahead of time, so you beat me to the punch. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I think it's an appropriate way to go.
One last question I have, excuse me, Mr. Chair, is does it, if we approve it today or to go to the to the city council, does it have to go to the planning commission first?
Yes, this, Mayor Pro Tem Council, this would go to the Planning Commission through an ordinance amendment, and that is envisioned for spring.
And then to the city council?
And then to City Council from there. The commissions would make a recommendation to council.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. That's all.
Okay. So I guess our recommendation should actually be to move it forward consistent with the process, which would be the planning commission first. And then from there, if it's successful, that planning commission will go to city council. Would that be correct?
The recommendation in the staff report is appropriate, that the committee would recommend that we increase from 2 to 5, and that we remove the Rose Santa Clara corridor specific plan area for a cultivation, so that that the locations would align with where we are allowing commercial cannabis manufacturing, distribution, and testing. The
Okay.
process, the land use process in the ordinance requires that it go to planning commission and then to council. So there'd be no need to make that in your recommendation. No need to make that action.
Okay, so we can stay with the recommendation, it'll still go through the process and
Correct.
go to planning. Okay, perfect. I would move the recommended action then.
Chair McDonald,
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, do we have any speakers on this?
we do not have any speakers virtually or in person for this item.
One of these days I'll get it right. I'm getting closer. Thank you. I made a motion.
I'll
and-
second.
Okay, and second by Councilmember Madrigal.
So-
Please vote.
Okay.
Motion carries 3-0.
Okay, thank you all. That takes us to item number 3, the Housing Department. And the subject is Plaza Vista Apartments drain line and electrical panel project, and the recommendation is that the Community Services, Public Safety, Housing and Development Committee recommend that the Board of Commissioners of the Housing Authority of the City of Oxnard approve and authorize execution of the following firm fixed price contracts. Number 1, agreement number A 8512 in the amount of $267,472.92 with Excalibur Plumbing Incorporated to replace the plumbing drain line at Plaza Vista Public Housing Site using funds appropriated from the 2019 Capital Fund Grant. And 2, agreement number A 8510 in the amount of $341,857.79 to replace the main electrical panels at the Plaza Vista Public Housing Site using funds appropriated from the 2019 Capital Fund Grant. Pursuant to Measure M, there was a pre-recorded presentation on the city's YouTube channel. And staff, Mr. Ramirez is here to answer any questions if council or if the board has any questions or comments. Mayor?
Thank you. Mr. Ramirez, I understand that, of course, they're gonna replace the drain, the plumbing there at Plaza Housing Site, and also the electrical panel that apparently is outdated, or it's just more of a safety issue than.
It's really not a safety issue yet, although it could
Potentially.
get there. It's more about efficiency, and they're old and they're just outdated. They need to be. They're not as working as well as they could.
And my understanding too that the building was built in 1966, and there's 50 apartments there.
That's correct. And since that date, since it was built, they've never been replaced, and so they're
Since 66.
it's time to replace them. But yeah, the building is active. It's full. It's under ownership, and it's a good investment that we need to undertake. It's also capital funded from HUD.
The other question I have is, are the tenants going to be okay? Do they have to move, or because of the plumbing work, or during the construction?
They will not be displaced, but there is going to be an effort to temporarily being less than 1 day,
Or one day?
allow them to move around. But there will not be a night in which they are displaced.
And Mr. Chair, is it going to potentially going to happen in the summertime when it's a lot warmer, and do we have air conditioning that they're going to have? Or?
If approved, then the electrical panel goes first, and it should be completed by April or so, end of April. and then the drain line goes after that, and it should be completed within June.
By the fall time.
By the beginning of the summer, both projects should be complete.
So 1966, that's a long time, so. And also, I think you mentioned that electrical panel has that wiring that really potentially could be a safety issue, potentially.
Yeah, like I said, it's not a safety issue yet, but it'll get there if we don't maintain it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Member Madrigal?
No, I think the mayor covered the questions about displacement, and you said one night?
There, our estimate right now is that there will not be a need to displace anybody overnight. There will be an inconvenience that will occur during the course of a day, but there is not an expected displacement overnight.
Okay, just real quickly, just in case there is, for whatever reason it may be, who would be on the hook for?
The housing, we would have the obligation to relocate temporarily or otherwise, and we will make sure that we undertake it. And that relocation expense will be part of the project and paid for from the same capital fund grant.
Oh, perfect. And then just a hotel nearby, or?
I mean, it depends on really the length of the displacement. If it is one night, then probably yes, a hotel. If for whatever reason unexpectedly it turns out to be long term, then we would find another unit within our inventory.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Madam Clerk, do we have any callers or speakers?
Chair McDonald, we do not have any speakers virtually or in person for this item.
Good. 2 out of 3 is not bad. I'm happy with that. What's the pleasure of the committee?
Move to approve.
And I'll second it. Madam Clerk, we have a motion by Member Madrigal and a second by me. If we would please vote.
Thank you.
Motion carries 3-0.
Okay, thank you very much. Takes us to item E, future items for future agendas. Do each of the committee members have a request for future agenda items?
Not at this moment.
No, I don't.
No? Okay. Takes us to item F, adjourned. We will adjourn at 7:07 p.m. Thank you all. Have a good evening and good
Thank
luck
you.
on your next committee.
Thank you.
Thank you.